Welcome back to the Rascals pregame show. I'm here with Rascals catcher Josh Ludy. Thanks for chatting with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yesterday at the plate, you had a pretty successful day in both games. If you combine them, you had the solo homer, you had 2 RBIs, you had 2 walks, you even had a steal. What was your day like yesterday?
The second game definitely I feel like went a little better. I always seem to feel a little more comfortable when I'm behind the plate as opposed to DH, and just kind of easier to stay in the game. But obviously coming away with 2 losses, it was a little more disappointing than we liked.
What is the kind of mentality coming off of a doubleheader in which we were swept, but 2 games that we could have very easily had won?
Yeah, obviously it's disappointing, but it was yesterday, and today we got a game, we got another one tomorrow, so, we're trying to come and be ready for today.
You caught game 2, you were the DH in game 1. Do you sort of have a preference if you're going to play doubleheader, which one you catch and which one you DH?
No, usually I'll catch the first one, I feel like, but this year it's twice that I've done it DH first, and it really doesn't make any difference. It's just you're going to catch one and DH one, so it's what it is.
On this surface, talking to Jackson Slade a little bit yesterday, catching, you sort of get the true hop, they say, but sometimes it's going to hop even higher than you're used to on a ball in the dirt. What's it like catching on the artificial surface?
Personally, I hate turf. I'm more of a natural field guy, but just the way it makes, it's always going to be a little bit different the way it hops or spins or something, but just the way my body feels after it is a little bit different on turf than it is grass and dirt. You're just kind of used to the dirt and feel a little bit better usually after those games.
The way you say your body feels, obviously with catchers you always think about the knees and how your knees feel. Do your knees feel different?
Yeah, it's pretty much everything feels different, the hips and the knees and the ankles and everything. It's just, for some reason, turf just treats them a little bit differently than what dirt will.
Yesterday, wind was blowing out, ball was popping off of bats, you were one that went deep. Do you sort of notice that when you're at the plate, that the wind may be flying out to left a little harder and maybe adjust your approach?
Yeah, sometimes. It just depends on the situation, obviously. You're just trying to look to get a job done in each at bat, and, if it happens to be that the situation calls for a fly ball to one side of the field, obviously you might try and look there a little more, but other than that, it's not really too much different.
How do you change it on the other side as a pitch caller behind the plate?
Sometimes you got to pitch the elements, especially if it's blowing out hard to one way and not so much the other way, but when it's blowing straight out, you obviously just want to keep the ball down as a whole.
We've obviously had a lot of turnover. Couple new pitchers now with Lucas Laster and Clay Smith around. How much time do you try to spend with them to get to know them before you catch them?
Last year I'd gotten to talk to quite a bit before his first start. I feel like we clicked right away, and Clay, I think I maybe introduced myself the first time, and then pretty much when I caught his bullpen, it was about the most we'd really talked. But we had a pretty good relationship out there too, so that worked out well.
This is the 3rd time we faced Normal now as a catcher. Do you think that gives you the advantage, sort of knowing them this well?
I definitely like to know guys, and I feel like them, I don't even have to look at a sheet anymore. I kind of know who they are and what they're going to try to do, but at the same time, you got to execute.
Playing these guys, we're neck and neck with them in the standings right now. Does this game mean something special, or this series, or is it still just too early?
Obviously, every game counts in 100-game season or whatever it is we play, especially when you're going head-to-head like this, but, it's just another game, and there's going to be a lot of them.
Coming up on 4th of July, we're going to spend it on the road in Florence. What do you usually like to do if you're at home for the 4th of July?
I love fireworks. I'm kind of a pyro sometimes, especially the mortars. I like to get after those a little bit and start mixing them and putting a couple in at a time. But I haven't got to do it in a while. With baseball, obviously, you're constantly traveling, so I don't even know that I've played at home on a 4th of July in about the last 5 or 6 years. But Florence will be a fun place, and especially with them having a nice ballpark, it'll be a fun 4th.
Do you think you'll maybe celebrate on the road a little bit with some fireworks?
I'm not really sure what the laws are there, so we'll have to go from there.
It's Kentucky. Aren't they usually pretty lax on their laws?
They might be. You never know. We'll have to look into that.
All-Star ballots come out today. Voting starts. Last year you were an All-Star. You hoping to repeat this year?
Yeah, it's a nice award, but at the end of the day, it's not as big to me as, winning a ring here. So, if it happens, it happens. If not, it's no big deal.
How was your All-Star experience last season?
I had a good experience. I got to do the home run derby, but unfortunately, I had a hamstring injury, so I hadn't played in a game in about a week, and so I didn't get to start the game like I was supposed to, and I think I just got one pinch hit, AB. But other than that, it was a good weekend.
How'd you do in the derby?
I think I missed the final 2 round by 1 or 2. And so I was 3rd or 4th or whatever that would be.
Hoping to make it again this year, the Derby?
I mean, yeah, it'd be fun, but if I don't, it's no big deal too. I mean, Ard's hitting the ball real well, so if he's the one that goes, I'm happy for him.
Josh Ludy, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me again.